Your inner peace lives entirely in the tightness of tiny arteries. We often think stress is purely mental, a thought loop causing anxiety. But that feeling might be a direct signal from your circulation itself, telling you something is off balance. Your body has an impossible internal governor. It maintains equilibrium moment by moment using microscopic feedback loops. Imagine those blood vessels as millions of ultra-sensitive sensors constantly gauging pressure and instantly adjusting tone. This sophisticated system, the peripheral baroreflex, is the hidden architect that translates physical stability into deep somatic resilience, giving us a biological blueprint for true inner authority. That feedback loop is not just a pressure sensor. It is a constant internal negotiation system. Think of your circulatory network as an infinitely adaptive thermal regulator for the nervous system itself. It does not wait for you to feel stressed, nor does it require conscious input. Instead, every slight dip in blood flow or minor fluctuation immediately triggers subtle biological corrections deep within the vessel walls. These microadjustments control how efficiently oxygen moves throughout your body, the literal currency of energy. We are seeing evidence that this sophisticated self-correction capacity is exactly what defines a person's physiological resilience against chaos, turning physical stability into radical inner authority. When we talk about this system self-regulating, we are not just talking blood pressure. We are seeing a direct line from your internal nervous state to the microscopic production of vital compounds within your vessel walls. Imagine those vessels not as pipes, but like tiny faucets that regulate the flow of pure metabolic intelligence throughout you. The Baroreflex does not just keep things steady. It actively modulates how much energy is available at every cell in real time. This constant balancing act affects endothelial nitric oxide synthase activity, the chemical responsible for your deepest sense of physical calm and adaptability. Which means something nobody expected. The stability we seek is not passive. It is an active negotiation with cellular life itself. And what happens when that inner authority system begins to falter completely? If this delicate negotiation falters, we do not get mere anxiety. We lose a foundational type of sovereignty. The body begins to betray the mind because its internal authority is compromised at the cellular level. When that energetic equilibrium breaks down, what was once quiet resilience becomes visible volatility, a physical inability to settle into a stable state, much like an overloaded circuit breaker trips constantly. This is not just about blood pressure swings. It is how your deepest sense of inner calm translates directly into vascular integrity moment by moment. Some studies focusing on chronic inflammation seem to suggest that this regulatory feedback loop is far less robust than we think under prolonged environmental stress. Specifically, the research published by Dr. Chen regarding persistent endothelial dysfunction shows a different picture entirely. But what does his finding mean for true systemic stability? When that delicate internal governance is compromised, we realize this system is not just maintaining pressure. It is managing a fundamental quality of your being. Think of your circulatory network not as plumbing, but as the central conductor orchestrating your entire life force flow. The autonomic regulation we discussed earlier translates directly into what ancient wisdom called energetic equilibrium, a state where internal stability feels effortless and complete. It is an active negotiation for coherence within you. But this deeper coordination involves far more than just blood vessels. It reaches into how our nervous system processes stress itself, acting like a universal dampener against chaos. The Baroreflex dictates the capacity of your whole body to stay settled when everything around you is spinning out of control. Yet researchers are now finding something startling. That regulatory signal does not stop at stability. It actually determines whether or not we have access to another vital internal reservoir, one deeply connected to radical self-mastery. This reservoir is not a physical stash of energy, but rather an operational state, a specific mode your nervous system can enter only when the vascular architecture is absolutely perfect. Think of circulatory coherence not just as a thermostat setting, but as the power grid stabilizing before you flip the master switch on hyper-efficient brain function. We thought these vessels were merely maintaining pressure. Turns out they are dictating access to what neuroscience calls deep parasympathetic resonance, the biological foundation for genuine creative capacity and sustained focus. The Baroreflex is not just holding things steady. It is calibrating your ability to receive input without crashing the system. But achieving this perfect calibration requires a level of somatic attunement that most people simply never learn how to achieve naturally. The final piece of the puzzle is not found in a lab, it is in precision movement. We have traced how minute vessel changes dictate your deepest states of calm, the body becoming its own perfect governor. But knowing this mechanism exists is different from actively guiding it. The actionable takeaway is simple. Intentional somatic practice acts as direct feedback to that Baroreflex loop. You are not just waiting for equilibrium. You can influence the negotiation itself, much like tuning a delicate instrument instead of just listening to static. This conscious attunement trains your internal authority, moving vascular stability from an accident of genetics into a deliberate skill. The full research archive is at jmtomasofficial.com. We started by looking at blood vessels as governors, but now we see them as destiny writers. Because your vascular coherence dictates access to deep parasympathetic resonance and creative capacity. Optimizing that internal negotiation is not just about feeling calmer. It is fundamentally recalibrating how you perceive reality itself. It changes the quality of attention available in your life. Think of it like upgrading from a dial-up connection to fiber optics. The sheer depth and bandwidth of experience become accessible. The actionable step is consistent, precise movement that signals radical compliance to your nervous system's architecture. This is not just managing stress. This is optimizing the very operating code of selfhood. The full research archive is at jmtomasofficial.com.